recording there too. Yay, we actually get a video version this time, and we're here and not remote, and that's not a sponsor. Cover the label. Anyway, no. Cover the Carl's Jr. For anybody, Carl's Jr., we're on the West Coast. It's Hardee's for everyone else on the East Coast. Okay, anyway, got John Addison here again. I guess it's sort of my podcast, I guess. Anyway, starting from left to right, we've got...
Jessica.
Reed.
John.
Stephanie.
Yay. Okay, cool. So we decided that we were going to... there was a lot of conversation about what we were going to have this subject on, and I think people are just kind of getting over the hump of the holidays, and it's whatever, so we're a little absent-minded. But there was the discussion, I think we're going to wait for Trina on for...
Favorite movies?
Yeah, favorite movies, and that I think that takes a lot more thought than the day that we gave it, for me anyway. But so what we're going to do is this episode is going to be about firsts, and the firsts that we have lined up thus far, and we'll see how much time it takes, is first car, first job, and first date. And we'll just go from there and see how it turns out. So do you want to get us started? I guess what we'll do is we'll do first car around, and then swing back around first job, and then swing back around first date. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay, so I'm sorry. Okay, so I guess my first car was a 99 Subaru Legacy that I got about a year ago. I think I got it in November, but I was like looking for a car ASAP for my job because I had to commute from Hillsborough to Sherwood, and I needed a car. So basically just went through Craigslist, checked out a few cars, didn't find anything that I liked, and then came across something that was in North Plains, looked exactly like something I was looking for, and yeah, and I got it.
You went and checked it out. It's a great running car. It's done really well for her.
Yeah, heated seats, sunroof, hasn't given me any problems so far.
We had the knock sensor we just got replaced. We might have a froze front caliper. I'm not sure. We need to take it down all swabs.
But
see what they say.
Yeah, I just wanted something reliable, 4-wheel drive. Got myself a roof rack. Yeah, all-wheel drive. That's what I said, right?
You said 4-wheel drive.
There's a difference. That's a different podcast.
Yeah, got a bike rack for it, so I can bring my bike with me places. I can put my kayak on my car. So yeah.
Did it come with the bike rack? I don't remember.
No,
she got the rack that just goes on top.
So
just the bars from a friend.
Yeah, no, I got a good deal from a friend who worked at Rack Attack at the time.
Rack Attack?
Rack Attack is just roof racks for cars and things and such. I think that's what it's called. But anyways, got an awesome deal on it, got it installed, then got a bike rack.
Yeah, then I got her bike rack for her birthday, Christmas.
I think technically it was supposed to be for a tattoo, but I used it for a bike rack, yes.
Yeah, birthday or Christmas.
It was birthday.
Oh, we could have done tattoos.
Well, you have a tattoo, I have a tattoo.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm a little sick. My first car was a 1973 Volkswagen Bug that I bought from my grandparents, who restored it and then parked it in their garage for like 15, 16 years that I bought from them. Got it up and running again, blew the motor out of it twice.
Is that the one that's in your backyard?
Yeah, and then it's been sitting since then.
Okay, when you say you blew the motor out of it, like what was the solution there? Did you replace it or rebuild it?
Yeah, okay. Rebuild the whole motor. Yeah.
How were you doing that twice?
I was driving it like a little go-kart.
Okay.
I was trying to get more performance out of it than what the setup could handle, because it's an air-cooled motor, right?
Right.
And it doesn't like high speeds for long periods of time.
Sure.
Yeah. I was trying to raise too many people.
Did you think it was Herbie the Love Bug?
It was. It's a fast little car when it was up and running. It was quick. It get up and move pretty quick.
Late 60s, early 70s was like my dream first car.
But
the Beetle?
Yeah.
I'm looking at getting there's a turbo kit that I want that you can get for it. I'll buy the whole motor turnkey ready to go. It's like 300 horse right around $3,000, or I can get 200 horsepower for $2,000.
And what? Put a wheelie bar on the back?
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my first car.
Okay. Mine was a 2001 Jetta, and yeah, no, there wasn't anything special about it. It was just that I moved. No, I was like right on the edge of moving out from my grandparents, and I decided I wanted a car and I needed to be able to commute, so I secretly got the car, and I was just parking it around, like, down the road around the corner from the house, and then my grandparents found out about it, and yeah, my grandmother took the car and sold it for like a huge loss, and kept the money.
Wait, why though?
'Cause that's just who she was. Yeah.
Was there any particular reason they didn't want you to have a car?
Yeah, I was 16, and they just. I think I was 16. It was a 2001 and 2001. So like,
Oh, wow.
so I think I was 16, and
You just have money.
and yeah.
Okay. So my first car was a 1983 Ford Escort. My grandparents bought off my aunt because she was done with it, and it had a bunch of mileage on it, and it was about as Ford Escorty as Ford Escort could be. It was a little coupe, and I literally drove it until it just wouldn't drive. Like, I replaced so much. I think they got it for like $500. I probably put like $4,000 into it by the time I eventually gave up. On it. It like ran over poles. Took it like
Wait, ran over poles?
like or ran into poles.
Oh.
With it, I like went too fast up a gravel road and like spun out and slid into the side of a hill.
So you're like Tokyo.
I rallied that Escort. I raced everybody I could possibly race in my like.
Here's the question
my
though.
little Escort.
It wasn't the all-wheel drive Escort.
Oh no.
Okay,
No.
so like, so you're rallying a non-rally
Yeah.
Escort. So
Yeah.
to clarify for the people, there are rally Escorts. This was not
No,
that.
it was real
Okay.
bad. And I just drove it real hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crap, what was I gonna say? Oh, my friend, he had a little Toyota Camry for his first car. 200,000 miles on it or something like that. Never changed the oil in it once. Did anything with the brakes. Like, it was just like, it went down the road and you could just hear it just, whiz! Just comes screeching to a stop, gets out and just walks away like it's no big deal. He stole it too. Like,
I sold it to U-Pull. U-Pull it. Like, I was just like, here's the title, you go pick it up, and I sold it to him for like $200.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay, first job.
So my first job was with Fred Meyer's. It's actually kind of interesting because, so like they did this online, I guess you applied online basically, and I didn't hear from him for months, and then I get a call saying like, oh hey, we're actually having an opening for you, and I was like, cool. So like I go in for a group interview and it goes super well, and then once you pass the group interview, you get to go, like, I guess people are filtered out and only like the chosen ones from that group are.
The chosen ones.
So it's funny because like
They put him in a
big
room
group.
and have to pull a sword out of a stone.
Well, like there's a group of us, and then like the next interview, you just see like the people who made it past the first level, and you're like, oh, those other people didn't make it. But anyways, so originally I was getting interviewed for working in a deli. So I met with the deli manager, and I was like, all right, you're great, you're perfect. All right, you're gonna start tomorrow. I start the next day. I'm in the deli. They're showing me a few things, and then last minute, the boss is like, all right, so you're actually not gonna be working in the deli. You're actually gonna be working in the bakery. I'm like, oh, okay. So
Okay.
this is my first job. I'm like, whatever, just put me to work, give me money. So like the bakery actually had like a tortilleria, so that's where I first started working actually. So I made tortillas and corn chips as my first job.
That sounds awesome though. Like, how many
I was
tortillas and corn chips did you eat?
How many did I eat?
Yeah, were you regularly eating
Oh
tortillas?
no.
Really?
Yeah.
She's always been
Why?
a health nut.
Like
Were you just like making tortillas and corn chips and judging people that were buying them?
Oh.
Just like I deep
Can't-
fried that. Like,
Can't you still buy like just like fresh giant bags of tortilla chips from
Yeah.
Fred Meyer's?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. I made the fresh tortilla.
but you
chips.
weren't like making sure quality was good. Like sample. Wow, this batch tastes like shit.
Better put those on for sale.
Yeah.
I did, like just because like I knew when I was making the chips, it was just like you dump it in grease and then you pull it out and then you let it dry and then you pack it. Like I don't know, I'm not a big chip fan, but yeah, that was my first job. I was glad I actually didn't work in the deli because like I made friends with the people around me. The deli was next door and everyone hated their job there. Like everyone hated their job. So
Interesting.
I guess it was just like good luck on my end that I was just switched last minute.
I think we talked about this before, and I don't know that it was on the podcast. It might have been, but I'm not, because we've mentioned it a couple of times. Stephanie and I were at this get together, we'll call it that, and like there was a significant amount of weed smoking going on. There was like older, like more softer hip hop playing the whole time. There were like card games being played and everything, and there was just so much steak, like just ridiculous amounts of steak that were just like I don't even understand where all the steak came from, but like what happened was this other guy who was showing up to the get together, he does show up and he shows up with like a body size bag of tortilla chips. Like, do you remember that? Like it was just a stupid amount of tortilla chips. I'm assuming that's what he did. Like is he made well, I know he said he worked in like a tortilla.
Yeah, it was like I don't know
something.
if it was Juanita's or something like that, but he worked at the factory, and so any of like the whatever rejects, or they just got to buy a 6-foot bag of chips. But it was like a normal bag; it was just huge.
Yeah.
Just a garbage bag size worth of tortilla chips.
It was a huge bag of chips. Yeah,
Huh.
It's crazy.
like that's exactly what it was. It was like a garbage bag size of chips. All right, what about you? First job?
Oh, well, my first job I actually got by creating my own like little window washing company. I was going around to a business park washing windows for like $5 a suit, and the guy came out one day and was like, "Hey, you want to like clean my machine shop for me like twice a week?" And I was like, "Sure." So I started doing that in 7th grade. And I did that all the way up through high school, and then my senior year in high school, he offered me an internship, which I took advantage of up until he was just like, "Yeah, I'm closing down. I'm going on vacation and selling the business."
What was the internship?
I was to become a machinist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, okay. No warrant, just out of the blue, decided to shut down the shop, and away he went. Moved to like Bahamas or something like that. Sold his house, sold all his machines, and left me and the other guys just like, what the hell just happened? But that was my first job.
Window washing business.
Yeah, it's a internship for a machinist shop.
Cool. I don't actually remember what my first job was though. So
Well, how did you get the money for your Volkswagen?
I think that one came from the advertising business, but that was 2 years later. So not advertising business. It was advertising for real estate. But
Were you one of those sign flipper guys you see on the side of the street, like
no,
signs?
you know what? Let's just call that my first job. I don't think it was, but let's just call it that. There was a guy who was involved in real estate, and he needed someone. Like I started off, he would just hand me like boxes, like so. The boxes were reams of printed, just printed advertisements for real estate because he specialized in like naval affairs or something like that, veterans affairs or something, like something to do with real estate regarding that, because it's in a very big naval town, and so I don't remember exactly what the verbiage was, but he essentially was just like, hey, take these, and I don't remember how much he paid per X number that were distributed. And so it was just like literally taking them and sticking them on doors, like door-to-door flyers. Like I didn't have to talk to anyone. I would just put in music, at the time CD player, and just walk for hours until like from morning until it got dark out, hanging these things on people's doors. And the guy had like targeted neighborhoods and things like that. Like he did his homework, whatever. Anyway, and then it went from there to where one of the other guys who was involved in it his name was LaSalle, and LaSalle actually got me my first cell phone. I remember that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm done doing this." He's like, "I don't want to do this." So he took like the whole box and just dumped them into a dumpster, and then he billed for it, saying, "Hey, I did like 2,000 of these, whatever." Anyway, and I said something to the guy about it, and I don't remember what his name was. Anyway, pretty sure my grandmother slept with that guy too. So, but anyway, I then started designing the flyers and stuff, and it turned into an office thing for like building the advertisements and yeah. And so, but at the time, I think that was right when like anybody could get a house, anybody could get any house. Like it was just like, oh hey, like this was I don't know, it was 2000. I don't know, 2099-ish, something like that. And I didn't do it very long, but so I think my first job was actually working in my grandparents' Chinese restaurant, but whatever. Anyway, I did a bunch of things in a really short period of time before I just got involved in some of the later stuff in my life. But yeah, there was that. It was just a lot of walking and music and yeah.
Cool. I think my first actual job was Mervin's, I guess.
What is a Mervin's? Because I'm not.
Mervin's
so sure.
is like Kohl's.
Which for somebody who doesn't know what a Kohl's is
a clothing store.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot those were a thing.
Those were a thing back in my day. So that was my first legal job, I guess. I did a lot of babysitting and stuff, so I watched kids over the summer. So that was my first income making thing.
You were the babysitter club.
I was, yeah. So I watched all
three of them in North Plains.
Right, I was gonna say, so my babysitter when I was younger watched pretty much all the children in North Plains, and so date night, whatever, I was just hey, hook me up, and so she just gave my information to everybody. So any date night stuff, I watched all the kids. So I rode there on my bike.
I'm really confused about this. So you watched all the kids.
Yeah.
On the date night.
Well, I mean, on date nights,
so it wasn't okay.
I had
when you say
four
this,
regular.
She would spend 1 hour at each house going.
No, that's not how I saw it. I was like, that's weird. Everyone in the town did date night at the same time.
Was there a bowl?
Yeah, no, that's exactly. I was like, what kind of community was this?
So I watched 4 different kids, and then over the summer I watched 2 kids while their parents went to work. So I did that. That was my first actual, I guess, making money. And then I worked at Mervin's, and then Mervin's, I didn't stay there very long because folding clothes is boring. And then I went and did my whole hostess bakery server job at Rose's.
Okay.
Marvin's, was it pronounced Marvin's?
No, I think there's a Marvin's also,
Maybe.
but that's
It
different.
was Mervin's. They broke some child labor laws. It was pretty good.
Well, that was the thing.
Because I was I was 14 working there, and I was working the overnight shift, which is not legal at all.
Yeah. I remember I worked at a pizza place when I was I think I was actually too young to even get a worker's permit, and I was working so much overtime and so late, and they were like, "Hey, I'll give you a cheese bread if you stay late."
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
Yeah, child, you're not allowed to work past 8 p.m. on a school night or something. I was there till midnight. It was.
Oh yeah.
Because I worked the store closing, getting everything prepped and put away for the next morning.
I remember there was something about the kids aren't allowed to directly handle the heavy machinery or something, and there's this big fucking dough mixer that if you put your hand in, it's gonna rip your arm off. And you have to put your hand in to if dough's sticking or something. So you time because it looks like a big drill essentially, but a really spaced out drill. And that's why I'm itching. I keep touching that. Anyway, it's yeah. And so dough would stick, and you'd be like, no, that's gotta go back in. You'd be like, and there's the blade, and
We actually had used one of those for when we were making masa.
Yeah,
The
big
tortillas. Yeah,
and
it's huge.
the bowl weighs 40 pounds.
Oh, no, that was a pain to move.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the sign says, ask for help, because it's got handles on it, how it drops down onto the thing, and they're like, the sign's like, don't lift by yourself. Like, ask for help. No one asks for help. Everyone just onto the table and just pull all the shit out of it, like all the dough out. Yeah. Now, like, oh god.
When I was working in Australia making paint colors and whatnot, we had these giant vat mixers, and there was like a saw blade. So it was okay. How do I describe this? So think of a giant drill press, okay?
Yeah.
But instead of a giant drill on the end, it was just a giant circulating saw blade, which is designed to like powderize powder and like into liquids and whatnot, so you get like a goop.
Yeah.
And like, so we have to like reach in there and like scrape powder off like the thing. And like one time, like somebody leaned over with like a phone in their pocket, and the phone like fell in. Like you could like we heard it like hit the blade and like bounce around the blade a couple times before it shattered and just shot into all the batter and destroyed the entire batch of batter.
I would have just been like, yeah, now you guys got metal flake yellow.
Yeah, but these are like 15 horse, like 220-volt 3-phase, tore out the wazoo motors with saw blades on the end of it. You're supposed to like reach in there and
and not lose a hand.
yeah. They're like, oh no, you have to wear like these long baggy sleeve like coats. I'm just like, no.
How old were you though?
I was 21.
Okay, so that was okay.
That was okay.
Yeah. Like,
Well,
mine was
yeah.
shut the business down.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. Like I knew that it was breaking the law,
Oh, yeah.
but I was like, I'm gonna get that cheese bread.
Yeah,
Like,
that's in good mind.
yeah. All right. So 2 points is we are 66% of the way on our subject matter. We are less than halfway through on our average recording length.
Well, I feel like
And according to the sound graph, our energy is ultra low tonight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are they talking louder?
No, I mean it's just you can see the wave patterns. It's just like and blah 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 blah. Like there's
We're very melancholy about it today. I'm under the weather.
yeah I think
Jess is fighting inside fish tank problems.
yeah.
Her bacteria is out.
Just it was a really long week coming back from the holidays in our office. I don't know. You're sick. Like it's just so. Yeah. All right. Cool. Last thing that we've got on our doc is first date. Tell us about your first date, Jess.
First date.
What
So
was
it's
his or
like-
her name?
I would say like my first like actual date was with a guy in high school who I really, really, really liked. He was in my biology class and like some other classes and like that.
So how old were you at this point?
Sophomore year, what age were you?
15-ish.
15. I was about 15 years old, and so like, you know, we don't have any money. We don't have a job, and we decided like, I don't know. We like talked a lot, and then after school, I was about to go on my bus, and then like he lived nearby the school, so he didn't have to take a bus. And then I decided we talked for so long that I missed my bus. So then I'm like, oh, I missed my bus. How am I gonna get home? And then he's like, hey, why don't we just like hang out or something like that? I'm like, okay. Well, what do you want to do? We're like, let's go to the movies. Well, the nearest movie theater was like 2-mile walk to Cornelius. You know where Freshman High School is, right?
Yeah.
We walked all the way to the Cornelius Theater, which actually 3 miles out of
Yeah, that's a long walk.
And this was like super sunny day. I was wearing like jeans and a long sleeve shirt, and we just walked the entire way. We actually stopped by a friend's place, talked with them, got water because we're sweating because it was so hot out. And then we went to the movies, but we talked the entire time, and it was like the greatest thing ever because we didn't have like always like had something in common. We kept talking about something, and then yeah, we stopped by a friend's place, got some waffles, drank some water.
Some waffles.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were
Stop at Waffle
Okay,
House.
yeah, okay, Leslie, nope.
I'm trying to remember the movie, but I'm pretty sure.
What movie was it?
Gosh, I want to say Transformers, like one of the Transformer movies.
It's so weird to me, like how young Jess is. Like it's okay.
So one of the first movies me and you saw together was the turkey pastry movie.
Gosh.
What was it? It was the kids break into like the blind guy's house, and
This guy, they're stuck in this house, and this blind guy tries to kill them because he's got super hearing.
yeah, so they break into like an old veteran's house who's blind from Vietnam or something like that, and anyways, long story short, he ends up killing most of the kids inside the house, and like he has like a rape dungeon in his basement. So, cause like his daughter was killed by this chick who was driving while on her phone or something like that, So like he kidnapped her, put her in like the rape dungeon, and was using a turkey baster to baste her turkey.
So this is why this is
What
not
was
my
he?
favorite.
What was he?
first
Right,
date.
no, but what was he basting her turkey with?
His baste.
Was he trying to get her pregnant?
Yeah, so she could, in his mind, since he killed his daughter, she should have to give him another daughter.
Okay, cool. So back to the first date. Yeah, maybe it was a Transformer movie. All right.
Yeah, it is. Okay, anyway, so yeah, and then I eventually dated this guy. He's super tall basketball player. His name was Austin. And yeah, he was like my first relationship actually. I guess like first fell in love or something like that. Yeah, so it was first good date.
Just a long walk, long hot
Yeah,
walk.
like it
followed by a movie.
sounds like terrible for like, but it was actually like a really good date just because like we just talked about anything and everything, like our childhood, and like we both liked each other but we never said it, so we were like just friends at the time, and it wasn't like officially a date, it was just more like it ended up being a date, so it was kind of like I don't know, I guess the whole like how it happened. Yeah. But I can talk about my worst date. So
Okay. You went to the movies and you saw
This movie with the
this
turkey
joint with the
baster.
turkey baster.
yes. No, so this was when I was still working at Fred Meyer's. I was still working in the tortilleria, and there's this new guy that worked in the meat department. So the meat department was like kind of, I mean, you guys been to Fred Meyer's, like you can see it, so I can see the workers that work in the meat department. Anyways, I saw this new guy started working over in the meat department. And he kept staring at me while I worked, and I was like, huh, this is weird. And then
I
one
might
of my
get that meat. Alright, anyway. Sorry.
and anyway, so like I had a friend that worked in the meat department. His name was Bill. Super great, super friendly. He'd always like stop by and like pass out bacon. Because they would do samples, like just make bacon and
Bacon Bill. Alright.
Bacon Bill. Anyways, so like he stopped by one time. He's like, "Hey, so this new worker, his name's Morgan. He really likes you." I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." And like he was always like super awkward, like stopping by and trying to start conversations. Like it wasn't awkward, but like I don't know.
What is it? Hey, Jess. Hey, what was his name?
Morgan.
Morgan. Hey, Morgan. Do you like meat? No, I don't. No, that's why I work in the tortilla section. Can I help you with something? No. Okay, Morgan. Have a good day. Have a good shift.
Oh man. Like I think it was more so that he was like obvious.
But you
like,
went out on a date with him?
I was like forced on a date with him. Okay, so like
You were forced?
Okay,
So
so
like,
it was like I knew he
Get in
liked
the
me,
car.
and like I kept turning
Do
him
this
down.
job.
So like I'll turn him down, but like in a nice way. He'd be like, "Oh, we should hang out sometime." I'm like, "Oh yeah," and like I just never made anything happen, right? Well, like Bill stopped by. He's like, "Hey, like you should just really go on a date with this guy." I'm like, "But why?" He's like, "Well, like he really likes you." He's like blah 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 blah. And somehow I'm like, "Okay, whatever. I'll just go on a date with him." So I met up with him and some friends at his place where, cause he's a cook, I
the
guess.
meat counter.
And so he's like, "Oh, I want to like cook this pasta for you." I'm like, "All right, cool, sounds fine." So I get to his place and get to know some of his roommates, and we're just chatting. I think we played a board game. But anyways, like for dinner that day, he makes this pasta that literally has everything that I don't like in it. It had like broccoli, like olives, and mushroom. Like I don't know, it just didn't taste good. And I tried to like choke down this meal, and he like was really proud about it, but I felt bad because I didn't like anything that was in it. It was like the worst possible combination of foods. That's like for me specifically.
I'm imagining everyone else at this table. You said there were a couple of people.
Yeah, there's some
It was
other
like
people.
other people at the table were just like, thanks, Morgan.
Great.
And Jess is like, what do you think, Jess? Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh,
I'm so full.
I choked down half of it, and I was like, "I'm really full." He's like, "You didn't finish it." I'm like, "Oh, I'm really full."
Why weren't you just honestly like, I don't like olives or mushrooms or broccoli or
Well, like,
Morgan.
I don't like anything about this bitch. Like, he like worked so hard to make it. I didn't want to say that. But okay, so that wasn't even the worst part of it. So ate dinner, yeah. So like we're all in like the living space and we're all chatting, having a good time, and like we're just chatting on, and he'll just turn to me every once in a while because we're sitting on the couch together, and he's just like, "Are you having a good time?" And I'll be like, "Yeah."
Kind of like
I
you
was. Like I'll be like, "Yeah, like I'm getting along with your roommates," and he's like, "Okay." And then like we'll have some random other conversation. He's like, "Are you having a good time?" Like he kept asking me if I was like having a good time. It was so weird. Like I almost wasn't having a good time because he kept asking me, "Are you having a good time?"
Defense, you just kind of
Like,
sit
he's,
there
like,
a lot of the
evaluating,
time,
like,
so you
the
just
day.
like.
No, but I was like conversating with other people. Like it wasn't just me not doing anything. I was just like conversating. Anyways, it was just.
Did it get worse from there?
I was saying that, and then you had to still see him at work.
And then they came the third date.
No, that was it.
That was the only one and only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he ask you again afterwards?
No, I don't know. I think he was more like he asked me how the date was. I was like, yeah, it was good, and I don't remember how it like. I think we just. I don't know. I think it got awkward afterwards, just because like I don't know. I didn't have fun at the date. It just wasn't. I don't know. I think we're still friends afterwards, but we did not go on another date after that.
You should just reach out to him like nowish and be like, "Hey, bro, like I don't like anything that was in that date. like this is 2019. We're conquering our demons. I didn't like it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it was fine.
It just wasn't my cup.
I just don't want a supreme pizza in a bowl. Like that's just not me.
Yeah, that was my thing. So.
Okay.
Let's see. So.
First date. Can I ask you a question? I actually never thought about this. So there was a conversation when you weren't present about your dating relationship history.
Okay.
Right, and
Right.
It seemed that it just wasn't a very large portfolio, which is fine. That's totally fine. My curiosity question though is, did you date anybody? Did you have any kind of anything while you were in Australia? Weird. All right. Cool.
I tried a couple times, but like.
They just didn't like your accent.
No, it was the only thing. Like, I didn't know any things to go do in Australia to like let's go on a date or anything.
That's exactly how you initiate a date.
I know,
You
but
tell the person who like give me the name of one of the girls. Cindy, perfect. So you're like, Cindy, listen, I don't know what anything is to do here. Like,
I tried that.
Let's
all
go
more
do
just like
things.
There's not really much to do. I'm just like, well, you're helpful. And then
That's the wrong
attitude.
I would have been like, cool, let's go find it. I've got a bow that we can put, a crossbow or whatever that was.
Compound bow.
Compound bow, we'll put it in the trunk and go on the wild side.
Yeah. It's like, well, the thing is, like, I didn't have a car, so I couldn't drive us anywhere. It's like my means of transportation was like an old bike from like the 70s with like solid rubber tires.
That's awesome. It'll never go flat.
It did somehow manage. Like,
okay. All right. First date.
I think we weren't really dating yet, Jess. But like my first date, I would classify with Jess.
Really? Your first date was with Jess?
Yeah.
So your portfolio is sparse.
Yeah, I had like one other girlfriend like way back in like sophomore year in high school, but she lived out in Vernonia, and I never saw while we were dating. So it's just like yeah. But like our first date for like me and Jess was we went to Zoo Lights, and like.
But I thought first date was like Sherry's or something.
That was after we started dating.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Well, Sherry's where you met.
That was where we met.
That's also what we for our first date after we started dating.
No, but was
That
the
was like
meet was not the first date?
No.
You don't think so?
I would count that as the first date.
No, because it wasn't the first date because like I didn't know him. I actually didn't know who
Go on a
was-
date with someone you don't know.
That's what blind dates are.
That's a blind date, yeah,
So,
or
so
like
you
an
guys went
internet
on a
date.
blind date.
It's an internet date.
Okay, I guess we went on a blind date for Sherry's, but I'm not gonna.
All right, so Zoo Lights.
Zoo Lights was like really like my first what I would
You
classify as
classified. Okay.
as my first. That sounded like that hurt. Was
It's
our
probably
first
bad.
date, in my opinion. But like a couple weeks before that, I asked her, I was like, "Hey, you want to go on a date with me?" And she was just like, I'll get back to you." And then she never got back to me.
Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, she's not really interested." Otherwise, I would have made a move at Zoo Lights. And later on, she told me, "Why didn't you make a move at Zoo Lights?" And I was like, "Well, I asked you a couple weeks ago if you'd want to go on a date with me, and you said you'd get back to me."
Huh.
So Reed's the kind of person that, like,
Just doesn't read between the lines.
Yeah.
I expect you to keep up your end of the bargain.
Huh. Okay, so I don't mean to make it awkward, but I think it's gonna get awkward here in
We
2
have time
seconds.
to kill.
No, I just so Jess did her first date and her worst date, and if Jess was your first date, I'm assuming your worst date is also with Jess. So what was your worst date? You could just make one up.
I feel like
Was it one time you went horseback riding, but you had diarrhea and you shit all over a horse's back, but you had to keep going?
No.
You went up, like when you came back down on the saddle and blasted.
That's
the
really
crowd behind you.
disgusting. Don't make this
I
happen.
feel like this is strangely specific, John.
No, but that would be a horrible date.
I don't know if we've had like a worst date or like a bad date.
Like, okay, what is a date where just enough stuff went wrong? Like, not according to plan, maybe? Because I've had that where I'm just like, yeah, let's do this, and just like everything fucks up along the way.
I guess that kind of happened a couple weeks ago. Jess was just like, I want to like, or the day before, she was like, I want to like date myself. And I was like, okay. And then like,
But this is a date?
it wasn't really a date. It was kind of like a series of events. Like I tried to make a date special for her, but it was just kind of like me ruining her day.
Oh.
What are you even talking about?
So like the day you just like, okay, I just need a day to myself, I think. And I was just like, oh, okay, she's not feeling good. Like she's a little depressed. And you like brighten her up, brighten her mood up. So I drove, or let's see, yeah, I drove you out to work that Saturday, and then we went ice skating afterwards.
Oh. Yeah.
And like we just did some stuff, and like I tried to make the day special for her, and it just never worked. And like I drug her along to do our first podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
It was just one of those days where it's like,
I'm glad
I
wasn't
needed
part
a
of that.
long day, and it just didn't happen, so.
Yeah. Sorry,
That's
we ruined her
okay.
day. So I guess that was a worst date. Even though it wasn't a date, it was just me ruining her day.
Ice skating? Your worst ice
Trying-
skating date?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Alright. I took Stephanie ice skating, and it was really, I was pulling Stephanie around an ice skating rink and making sure she tried to stay vertical. So, yeah.
Okay, that's first date, worst date. Or first date, I guess.
Oh man, first date. I don't know. I don't know that it. Yeah, that's really tough for me. My portfolio is not as sparse, so I don't really remember. But I guess there was this. This girl that I was really interested in, and I guess I'm still dating her technically because we never broke up.
Oh
So,
snap!
yeah, no, I don't remember. Like, I was like, "Hey, do you want to be my girlfriend?" And she's like, "Nah." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And
Smell this.
no. And then she's like, "Do you want to go to the dance with me?" And I was like, "I mean, I guess, yeah." So we ended up going to the dance together. We, did dance stuff at the dance, and she's like, "Yeah, you know that thing you asked me?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Yeah, about being your girlfriend." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I'll be your girlfriend." I was like, "All right, cool." So that was my live-in girlfriend for a little while, and then she kind of cornered me one time, and she was just like, "Hey, listen, I don't think this relationship's working out because we don't spend time together. We don't do anything like there." The thing was, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I was just like,
Am I supposed to feed her?
no, it's like anytime that we have to like go anywhere and we have to get onto the bus or something, like I would hold her hand or whatever, like we like hugged by or whatever, but like that was it because like I didn't know what else I was supposed to do in that situation, and our academics were so different that while she was focusing on one thing, I was very much involved in like sciences, and she was interested in literature and whatnot. But yeah, and then so we broke up, and then I reached out to her and I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm really sorry about how that went, and like I'm gonna try to make an effort, like let's and so anyway we decided to be boyfriend and girlfriend again, and then we didn't, and we never had that conversation again, so we never broke up. Anyway, yeah, so I guess the first date was, going on a dance, and it was just like, I don't know, there wasn't anything significant about it. There was nothing special. Dinner was served on campus. We ate dinner and went to the dance, and then she went to her dormitory, I went to mine, and that was it. Worst date. Man, no, I think worst date was I was still young, and the girl that I was dating was like, hey, man, I don't even know for sure that this is worst date, but the girl that I was dating, she was like, yeah, let's go get dinner, and so we did. We decided we were going to go get dinner, and I actually remember this, yeah. We decided to go get dinner, and her parents were like, oh, where are you guys going to dinner? We're like, I don't know. We haven't decided. And they're like, oh, you know what would be really good? You should go get... It was the first time I think I had pho. And they're like, yeah, you should go do this. And they're like, yeah, we're going to eat pho. And I was like, ah. And then so we got really pressured into eating pho. So we went and had dinner with her parents. Like, and her dad was just like, the whole... Like, he ordered for me. Like, it was just like...
Was he Asian?
No.
Oh,
a little bit. Actually, I want to show you a picture of this guy.
That was something like most like Asian dads will do, like order for like their whole family.
No. So yeah, he was like super white hippie. Like, did you ever see the what was the name of that show? What was the show? Arrested Development?
That is a show.
There's Always Money in the Banana Stand. Is that the one? Remember how they forced their kids to get on stage and do the musical performance?
Mm-hmm.
And like for the medicine or whatever it was. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, that is that is what it was like. He Joe was his name, and he was he's like just a super crazy hippie. I can't find a picture of him, but just imagine if you will, like, I think we had a conversation recently about like the situation where parents are so old that people assume that they're their grandparents, but they're not.
Oh.
He was that, and crazy hip. Like, if his body shape was different, you would have thought he was a modern day Gandalf that played instruments and smoked weed out of really long pipes. Like, that's what he was. Anyway, so he went on the first date, or not first date, the worst date. He ordered for me and everything, and it was I don't know, it just wasn't great. Anyway, date ended, was gonna leave, and just things were getting real bad. The weather was just awful. Trees were coming down, power lines were coming down, roads were closing, and he's like, no, you get to stay here. And oh no, let's rewind. yeah. Oh god, this is bad. I'm gonna get in trouble with Stephanie, but I don't think so. I drove myself, Athena and I drove us there, and her parents went in their car. Whatever. We were coming back, and it's awful. The weather's so bad, and she's just like, I'm gonna give you a hand job in the car, and I was like, or we could not, because your parents are like, we can't show up like so much later. We're going to the same place, and but she insisted, and then it was like, cool, like there's semen, and it was just like, I'm gonna use your shirt, and I was like, the one that I have to wear when I have to drive, like. So anyway, yup, and weather's awful, and her dad's like, yeah, you can't, like, there's no way you're gonna make it to like 3 cities over, like it's just not gonna work, and the naval base was pretty far away, and he's just like, yeah, no, you're gonna have to stay here tonight, and I was like, all right. He's like, if you're fucking my daughter, be quiet, and I was like, this is so fucking weird, you're such a hippie, anyway. Yeah, but it was so weird, like, because I've got semen on my shirt, and he couldn't tell, I guess, because it was raining. It was soaked anyway. It was so bad and awful. So anyway, yeah, that was my worst date. You're up. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what my so I don't think I ever had like a bad day, but my
First date.
like first date was kind of also awful because it didn't actually end up happening.
Like it did end up happening?
No, it was like
or,
no,
like,
I
the
was like
date
way
didn't
young,
happen?
so we were like supposed to go to the movies or something,
Okay.
and I like spent all day getting ready, and like my Aunt Christy helped me get ready because it was my first date and it was like a big deal. And then like as we were getting ready to like go get chauffeured to the movie theater, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not that into you, so I'm not gonna be there."
Hashtag.
So that's like first worst.
That's
Yeah.
bad. That's pretty bad.
Stephanie and I had a bad date too.
The
The first date was pretty bad.
It was bad, but it was good. So I was gonna say like my first date, like
Before it got started was bad. So Stephanie, like, weren't you like doing something with like Jack and Gabe or something, or you were doing something, and there was something going on with your car.
yeah, no. So first I was gonna say first date with like previous person was also bad, right? Like we were supposed to go to this Hawaiian restaurant, we showed up and it was closed. So we ended up going to like Carl's Jr. for dinner. And then we were supposed to go to the movies. We got there a little bit early. So we were just like making out in his car, and then we like missed the entire movie because we spent the entire time making out in his car. And then he threw me out.
But was that awful or?
No, like I mean, me at the time enjoyed myself, I guess. And then like our first date, like we were trying to do something in my car with my friend Jack, and then I wanted to like go home and shower, and like put on nice clothes and like shave my legs because I'm going on a date.
She procrastinated. I was at the place.
But it was so late that I like just didn't get to shower, and I was like, oh, I'm like gross. I'm like wearing gross clothes because we were like working on my car all day. So I like borrowed some of my friend Jack's clothes to like go on the date. So I was like wearing like his shirt, which I still have. I never gave it back.
John showed up in his girl and guy's clothes. She's like, cool.
No.
And
It was. I had
and
my own
then like
traumas.
he didn't drive at the time, so he had to like he took
Oregon,
the Max.
and someone died. Or was trying to die.
And then I drove to like a Max stop because we were gonna go to Lloyd Center for our first date. And then he took me ice skating, which is fucking awful. I hate ice skating, and I'm awful at it because like I have no my joints are all really bad, so like my ankles are really bad, and so ice skating just doesn't work. So then he, instead of like staying with me, he just like did laps around me
I pulled you too.
a little bit, and then he just gave up because I was too slow and just did laps while I just like, okay, I'm skating. This is so great. And then we went and saw Watchmen, and then
It's still a good movie.
it is a good movie. And then we both had like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off or something like that, and so it was a Sunday night. But because it was like our Saturday or something, it was Sunday night. It was like our Friday or Saturday, something like that. And so we didn't realize like the Max close is early on a Sunday. So we were like downtown Portland trying to get on the Max to go home, but there were no more Maxes to go home because it was like that late. And then he was like, let's just get a hotel. And I'm like, it's our first date.
That's not what I. Okay, go on.
And so we had a friend that lived nearby. So we like called her and we're like, hey, can we crash at your house? Because
She lived like 2
we
blocks
can
from
walk.
Lloyd Center.
Yeah, we can walk to your house from here. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. So then we walked to her house and ended up staying the night there. And then she had like work the next morning, so we just like stayed there and showered. And then we went back to the mall, and he bought me jeans because he had scribbled all over my jeans
I played tic-tac-toe with her.
on the way to the mall.
That's not too bad.
No, so it was like a horrible date, but it turned out okay.
It was.
Oh, also,
okay.
and then I tried to kiss him like on our walk, and he was like, I don't do that.
Bitch, please.
No,
Yeah.
it's not like that. I don't like. I have reaction to other stuff, and it's also gross to me. And it might be a stigma because it's gross, but because of some history, and it's just like, yeah, making out is like a few and far between for me. But no, like I remember I was just hanging out at Lloyd Center, like trying to kill time, and somebody went into cardiac arrest. Yeah,
That's crazy.
and so it's like, hey John, I was like. She's like, I'm gonna be late, and I'm like, I'm keeping someone alive anyway. Like, take your time.
Wow.
Yeah. Cool. So you just had lots of bad dates, first dates, no dates.
I don't think the only date I think I've ever had that went like
Like,
according
flawless.
to plan was with Jared, who I think you met at the point.
Big.
But that was probably the sweetest, like nicest overall date. Like we went for a first date.
Okay.
Like we went for, he also maxed because we were too young to drive, I think, at that point. Or I might have had my car, I don't remember. But we just maxed to like Orenco, and then we like walked in the park, and then he took me out to like a steakhouse that's in like Orenco. It was pretty nice, and we had like a steak dinner. And then we like went for another walk, and then he was very sweet and like gave me a nice kiss goodnight, and then that was it.
And then never dated him again.
And then no, he
Because I think he went on
I think
dates
I went.
to some kind with a lot of people.
I dated, yeah.
I was in a room once. Not this isn't shaming, Stephanie, but I was in a room once, and I very like it just started clicking, and I was like, Stephanie, you have dated every person in this room.
On a date, that's
or
not
on a
dating.
date with every
I
person.
kissed everyone in the room though.
Yeah, it was like 8 dudes. Like, and I was like, cool. This is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I have now kissed by proxy every one of the guys in this room.
Yeah. So, but Jared was sweet. Because I started dating. So I was like dating 2 people at that point. But then I wanted a relationship with someone that was not him.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna go steady or whatever you want to call it with this person B. He was not happy about it.
I do have another story.
Sure.
So same person on the good story, Austin, right? I guess first date, movie, long walk to the movies, waffles and things and such. I guess like the day that he asked me out was supposed to be a very magical thing, but was also super awkward, but also like super like awesome. So basically, this was before things were official or whatever. We're still like never dated anyone, so we're at that awkward stage of like, hey, we both know we like each other, but like don't know how to like express it, I guess. So
Get naked and do cartwheels together.
so like one day, it's a normal day in high school, walking down the halls, and I open my locker, and there's just like a stuffed animal in my locker. It was a stuffed giraffe with like a note that said like, hey, do you want to go to homecoming with me? And I was like, oh snap, I've never been to a dance with a boy before, so like all giggly and whatnot, got like all excited. So first off, photos were super awkward. I don't do well with photos.
There's a whole Facebook page dedicated to
Yeah.
cats with their eyes
Yeah.
closed.
For those that don't know us directly, there is a Facebook page for pictures with Jess with her eyes closed.
Yes, I'm not a photogenic person. I don't know. My face is weird things when I'm supposed to pose. So, so he's also very awkward with photos, and also just never had a girlfriend. Has never like had like relations with a girl before. So like the act of standing next to a girl was very awkward for him. So like he would turn really, really red, like this colored red, like very flushed. So like pictures were interesting to see afterwards, I guess. But and what didn't help at the time was we went with a group of people, and all of his guy friends, like I guess knew he was gonna ask me out at that dance, so they were all like giggling and whatnot and like teasing him, so it made him feel more awkward. So it was just like, and I felt that vibe from him, so it was just like, this feels really awkward because you feel awkward. And then on top of that, there was this girl who like knew he was gonna ask me out, so she told me, hey, Austin's gonna ask you out during the slow song at the dance. And it was supposed to be like because he wanted to do like a secret. He wanted to like surprise me, I guess. I don't know. So she told me, and I'm like, oh, cool, okay, thanks. Like, I guess.
Thanks for ruining the surprise.
Thanks for
bitch.
letting me know. Haha.
I'm not in Australia, I can't say that word.
Anyway, so took pictures, cool. We went to get food before the dance, and somehow I don't remember the place, but like they had this like party table that was separate from everything else, so it was just us in this room. And the really annoying chick that told me about what was going to happen at the dance kept like looking at Austin and like, hey, you should ask her out now, do it now. And he's like, no, and I'm like sitting in between them, and like,
Oh my god.
and like, they're trying to be secret about it, and he's like, no, like trying, like, or he's like, I'm sitting on one side, and he's trying not to like show his reactions to me or something like that. I don't know, it was super weird, super awkward. And then this girl, the same girl, decides to stand up And she's like, all right, girls, we're going to the bathroom. So I'm still sitting. Everyone else stands up. And she's like, you too, Jess. I'm like, oh, gosh, why are we doing this? So we get up, we go to the bathroom, and she's like, how cool would it be if he asked you out right now in front of everyone? I was like, what? No, let him do it. Like, let him do it when he wants to, like, ask me. Like, she's just making it so awkward. And then somehow, like, we finish dinner, we leave, we go to the dance. And, like, it was just, like, awkward the entire time. But then eventually we're dancing, having a good time, and, like, we forget about it. And then, like, a slow song comes on, and I'm like, oh, is this gonna happen? And then, like, we're dancing, and then he asks me out, and I was like, I knew you were gonna ask me. He's like, I know you were. I knew you knew. And yeah, and that's pretty much what happened. Then we went to Taco Bell afterwards, got some Taco Bell. And yeah.
Like, I'm putting this together in my head, not how it goes. So, like, you had dinner, there was an annoying girl,
Yes.
Morgan's food was shit anyway, so, like, you were ready to get out of there. Yeah, okay. Cool. Do we have anything else? Do we have any housekeeping stuff that we want to do? Because we got 4 minutes before we get the hour mark. Not that we have to put the hour mark or, you know, whatever, but I'm just trying to think of anything that...
Work's picked back up, so that's nice. I'm working again.
Oh, yeah, I reached out to you and I was like, hey, because I don't remember, I was going to ask you something. I don't even remember what it was because, like, I thought you were like, yeah, as soon as I finish, I'm working. And I was like, working on what?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, whatever it was that I was going to talk to you about in that moment, I guess wasn't important because I don't remember it anymore.
I thought it had something to do with the fish. So I was like, do you want those fish still? And you're just like, or get a hold of me after work or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Jess got a new fish tank. We're starting Jess's fish tank up tonight.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. You should, I totally forgot about this. You should get some, like, quick start or something.
I have a bunch left for my tank.
Okay, cool. Throw it in there. Oliver's tank, I showed you guys a picture of that. That's got some settling to do, but I've finagled it in such a way that the Quiet Flip 75 is working on it. I sucked up a lot of sand and then into the pump, and then I had to take it apart to see if I could fix it, and it turns out the whole thing is serviceable. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I watched a video the other day of some people that made a waterfall instead of a fish tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was like, well, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna try that.
Is it the sand one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Aquascaping is really, really pretty. I think that given the space, I would really like to do something like that. It's not like they're not deep tanks. They're oftentimes square.
Yeah.
Just they have a lot of depth to them. But I would love to do something with like cherry shrimp or something, but just lots of really pretty plant. Like I would like to design, and I've seen someone who did it, the Avatar planet in a fish tank.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's like floating
So like
land
we
mass
got
and stuff.
essentially everything we'll need to make something like that. We have a 3D printer and a laser cutter, so anything like we can make everything out of acrylic and plastic, so it's not gonna hurt the fish.
Yeah. I'm still hesitant to put anything plastic in a fish tank.
We can put plaster over it.
All of the fish tank.
I know it's casted, but it's purpose driven for that. I don't know, like that, and I think that the plastic log that I had in mind served its purpose for a year and a half, and it was fine. But I'm really happy with the fact that every single thing in there. Like when we first started, we started with like multicolored, like gravel, like neon gravel, fake plants, plastic ornaments,
Yeah.
and everything
Well, this
like
all
that.
started for Oliver for Christmas.
Right.
His
But-
tank, and he had like bright blue rocks and like fake plastic plants and plastic
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that my startup started in a very similar way. Like it was like there was no life other than the fish.
Yeah.
And now, literally every piece of decoration, everything that's in there is natural. Like they're all real plants. They're all rocks. It's real wood. It's so, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Speaking of which, I should have brought those 2 sticks that I have.
I'm good. I think because I think what's gonna happen there is the plants are all gonna fill out. I might try to get like some kind of hut or something, because if you see under the rock in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
there's the Plecostomus there. He's probably a little more exposed than he wants to be. I also have, it turns out at least one of my black loaches is alive, and he's just kind of laying under the plants because he doesn't have anywhere else to go. So I probably should get some kind of multi-tiered hut of some kind so that everyone has a home to hide, because half the stuff in there hides.
You should get like one of those little lizard rocks that have the tiers
something. But I don't want it to be. I mean, to be honest, I'm thinking about swinging over to the Forest Grove pet store tomorrow
Another piece of wood.
and get another piece of wood, which is unfortunate because the water's going to turn brown again for a year.
I mean, it's still kind of brownish, but
It's definitely more yellow than anything else. I also, and I haven't done it, and I don't know that I have had the time or opportunity. I think I want to either need to vinyl the back or paint it, so that you don't see wires and the wall coming through. But anyway, yeah, I'm really excited to see where Jess goes with hers. You got everything that you need for it.
I just want to be able to grow plants in it.
Yeah.
Make sure I do that correctly.
It doesn't take a lot of work, and air stone is actually counterintuitive to plants, though, because breaking up it brings oxygen into the water, and plants actually want CO2 that the fish produce. So that's why I don't have an air stone in there anymore, is once the plants got dense enough, it just made sense to get rid of it. For your first start, it'll be fine. It'll add character.
Like her air stone is just literally
Yeah. It's the bubbles coming up is not what oxygenates the water.
Yeah,
it's just breaking the surface tension. Yeah, and it'll definitely do that.
I don't know if there's something else we can get. Just get some notice that they're just tap the water a little bit.
The waterfall fountain will do it itself, or the filter will do it itself. So anyway, cool. We're at the 1 hour 2 minute mark. Does anyone else have any closing statements? Anything they want to add in? I think next week we're going to try to do movies, probably with the Kingsberries.
Maybe if they're up to it. What's going on next weekend? Oh, next
I'm
weekend.
doing my blood draw, so I may not even be.
Yeah, Jess is going to be out of town next
Hopefully
week.
doing your blood draw.
Yeah, it depends whether or not my car gets finished tonight. I think it's being worked on right now. So.
Yeah, Jess is going to be out of town next weekend, so it's going to be just me.
Okay, cool. I think something that Stephanie and I are both kind of on the same pages about is getting a good male-female balance, because sometimes we'll talk about something that could be gender biased. And so we tried to get Brittany tonight when we didn't know that Jess was coming over. Brittany said no because she's playing Diablo on the Switch.
Oh, he's not on her phone?
Yeah.
Right. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody. We will see/talk to you for our audio diary next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.